All right, Central Georgia, happy Sunday. It's Meteorologist Ansley Parker here, and believe it or not, there is rain chances in the forecast for the first time in a while. So we're going to take an extended look at what you can expect for the rest of the day today, but more importantly, what you can expect heading into the upcoming work week, because I know it's kind of rain chance out there right now, but it's not super impressive. But the one that we have coming for late Monday night into early Tuesday morning is a lot more impressive. And I can't believe I finally get to say this, but it's the first time in a while that we potentially have the chance to kind of aid our drought conditions with the rain chances that we have. So that's kind of the setup that we've got going on right now. And I'm going to break down every single individual piece. Not only that, it is also November 30th, which is the official end of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. So I'm going to recap the season for you and kind of show you what things have looked like. So really quick, I'm going to flip these graphics on full screen and we will dive into talking about the forecast here. So we're going to start with the sky cams across the area. Let me flip over to those really quickly. And across the sky cams today, I've kind of been saying this morning, but there's kind of a hint of something being different out there. Obviously, in some counties, there's some peaks of sunshine outside right now. In some counties, there's just a lot of cloud cover. So we've had these past couple of days with really clear blue skies all day long. I don't really think that's going to be the case today. What you see outside is probably a good representation. Sometimes there'll be a little more cloud cover, sometimes maybe not so much. But overall, it's definitely a change to the pattern that we had for the last couple of days. The skies say that, but also so do the temperatures. Across the area, there is actually some really warm numbers compared to this time yesterday. In fact, in Macon, we're actually close to the high temperature from yesterday, only at 11 a.m. this morning. So it feels a little bit warmer out there. Again, you're sacrificing a little bit of sunshine for some warmer numbers. And again, I said this is warmer than this time yesterday. We are close to, if not at, around 10 degrees warmer than this time yesterday. So that's kind of going to be the case heading into the rest of the day as well. Today's high temperature will be in the mid 60s, which is actually right around average for this time of year. But like I said, we're sacrificing some of the whoops, sorry, a bug just flew on me in here. We're sacrificing some of the cooler temperatures for some of the sunshine. So we get, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, I'm really not making this up. There is actually a bug flying on me. All right, let me get my mind back on track here. There is some cloud cover out there, and then we're going to have some light scattered showers possible today as well. So I talked about this. I kind of started the stream off by saying we have rain chances for the first time in a while. Today's the first day that we're going to see them, but they're not going to be super impressive this afternoon. If we take a look at the current satellite radar, right now there is a cold front approaching our area, but it's going to do what a lot of cold fronts have done lately, and it's kind of slowing down over North Georgia. Look how hardly it's moved from the last couple of hours or so. It's really not moved much. And you can see also the heavier rain has been further out towards the west also. What has made its way into Georgia has just been a couple of scattered light showers. So we really haven't seen anything all too impressive from this line itself. So today's rain chance is going to be a result of that. As we kind of zoom in a little more locally to our area, there's a lot of cloud cover out there today. But other than that, have we actually seen a whole lot of rain? Not a ton. Most of this rain has been up in North Georgia, and you can see it's not exactly moving south. It's actually moving a little bit to the northeast. So we need this to come in from the east, but a lot of it is tracking further north before it actually gets to our area. So some light to sometimes steady rain up there in North Georgia. In fact, what they're seeing where you see these really light green colors is not much rain at all. It's really just a light drizzle. But if we kind of take away the clouds and look at our radar here in our area, there's a little bit of a light shower happening up there, maybe in Jasper and Putnam counties. But other than that, all of that that's been in the metro area has really struggled to make its way south of I-20. So I think a lot of our day is going to feel like that. We've got this front coming through. Our northern counties kind of have the best chance of seeing some showers, but overall, this is not a super impressive rain chance. So that's what that looks like on the big scale. This front is going to eventually leave us. And then we've got a secondary rain chance on the way for the early work week. So right off the bat, you can already tell this looks a lot more impressive just by looking at it at the larger scale. It's actually a low pressure system that's tracking off of the coast. So it's moving onshore and it's going to bring a better swath is such a silly word, but it is a big swath of rain into our area. So this is Monday evening, but watch as we turn into late Monday night and early Tuesday morning. I'm going to let this play now. Watch this. We get a ton of rainfall in that amount of time. And then this kind of sticks with us into the early morning hours of Tuesday, and then by Tuesday afternoon, it's gone. So let's play that out on a local scale. That was just kind of to show you big picture what was going on here. Again, we'll backtrack it to today. That front that's trying to come through here, I guess our northern counties probably have the best shot at seeing a shower or two, but overall, I still think the pattern's going to be similar of the rain struggling to make its way south of I-20. A few scattered showers possible through this evening. If you've got plans today, if you're trying to put out Christmas decorations, I know some people asked me about that. You should still be able to do so. If you get anything, it'll be a drizzle. Honestly, if you get anything and you're trying to be outside, it'll be more of a nuisance than anything else. So not a wash of a day by any means. Still try to get outside and do what you got to do. For travelers heading back into our area, this is already expected to be one of the worst days for traveling as predicted by the Georgia Department of Transportation. So not a great day to be on the roads when we factor in the fact that there's a little bit of a drizzle, especially in the metro area. It's probably going to add a little bit of a headache to the traffic situation, but overall it's not a downpour and we're not dealing with any sort of severe weather. So that's the look for today. And honestly, today is going to be a lot like tomorrow as well. We'll start off with a lot of cloud cover, but the rain chance through the day on Monday is going to continue to be a couple of light showers from here or there. There's not going to be a great rain chance for tomorrow during the daytime either. But we're going to switch it over to Monday evening. And by Monday evening, one or two heavier showers is going to start to make its way into our area by the late night hours on Monday night. So this is 11 p.m. Monday night. That's when the real rain starts to enter our area. So late Monday night, when you're tucking the kids in, getting ready for bed, you'll start to have some rain on the roof. I actually think it'd be really nice for going to sleep. We'll have that going to bed Monday night. Then most of the rain actually is going to happen probably while you're sleeping, unless you're like me or Alex Pry and you happen to be up at 3 a.m. to go to work, then you are probably going to miss most of this rain. It's going to be quiet, and we'll just kind of have most of this in the overnight hours as we push towards early morning commute time. So if you've got a really early commute closer to kind of 5 or even 4 a.m., you'll still be dealing with the bulk of this rain. So if you know you have an early morning commute, I would go ahead and budget just a couple of extra minutes because it is going to be pretty rainy, probably still, especially in the early mornings. Now, if you've got a more regular time commute, let's say maybe 7 to 8 a.m., you'll still have some showers, but they'll be starting to transition over to a little bit lighter rain. So the heavier rain will be really early morning Tuesday. Lighter rain will be happening more 7 to 9 a.m. But you'll still be dealing with rain either way, so I would just kind of go ahead and factor that into your morning commute time for Tuesday, because no matter what, no matter how much or little it is, I do feel like rain always causes a little bit of a headache for a drive. So that is Tuesday morning. Now we're going to play this out to Tuesday afternoon. So that was only a couple hours difference. By the time we're in the mid-morning, so let's say 10 to 11 a.m., most of this rain is going to be drying out, transitioning over into a light rain. And then by Tuesday afternoon, so this timestamp here is 2 p.m., we're seeing mainly cloud cover, but most of this is beginning to leave us. By Tuesday, your time heading home from work, you're in the all clear. You don't have to worry about the rain that you saw that morning. By Tuesday evening, all of this is going to be moved out, and we're going to have dry, clear, sunny skies to round out the day on Tuesday. And the clear weather sticks with us to kick off Wednesday as well. So the time period that you really, really need to focus in on is just going to be the really the Monday night to early Tuesday morning time frame. So it's kind of just some light showers today and tomorrow. Then Monday night, early Tuesday, that's when the heavy rain is there. And then we clear everything out by Tuesday afternoon, really Tuesday evening. So this graphic right here, this is kind of everything you need to know rain chance wise, as simply as I could possibly sum it up. But important to note that, again, though today and tomorrow are not much of a rain chance, what we see Monday night into Tuesday is going to be substantial for our area. This is the projected rainfall totals from the rainfall events today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. And we actually get ourselves to close to, if not over, 2.5 inches of rain in the heaviest spots. So I do think no matter where you are when this whole 2-day rainfall event is said and done, you will have over an inch of rain. Even our lightest spots are tracking to have over an inch of rain. That is really substantial compared to what we've had over the last couple of rainfall events. We've stayed really close to the below an inch, closer to half an inch of rain, and this actually is going to be really positive for us because this is going to do something for our drought conditions here. Will it necessarily put these areas that are in severe drought all the way back into moderate drought? I'm not really sure. It's only one rainfall event. We could definitely use what we can get. What I can say with a pretty good confidence is that this will help steer that red category, the extreme drought, away from our area. So it would be awesome if this would kind of clear all of this out. There is still a potential that this could drop a couple of areas, a category or two. I still think no matter what, we'll probably be close to abnormally dry. We probably need one more shot of rain to get a lot of these areas out of the severe drought that we're under for most of the area. But no matter what, the reason I show you this at all is just to show you this will help. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to do, but it is going to make a difference with the graphic that you're seeing in front of you. The last rainfall events, we've had pretty good certainty that this wouldn't make an impact at all. So this is the first time that we're able to say this will help in some form or fashion to the drought monitor here. Not only that, but as we kind of start talking about the end of the upcoming work week, there's another rainfall event on the way that also looks to be substantial. So we've got two kind of shots here to get a really good chance at some rainfall. So after that whole thing moves out Tuesday night, we're going to be dry heading into Wednesday, and then most of Thursday will be dry also. But you can see it creeping into the left-hand corner of your screen. Another rainfall chance is on the way. It starts to make its way towards us likely sometime Friday, but I think the bulk of the rain will be coming through here sometime on Saturday. So here's the thing with this. We're in the long range models right now. We're looking for trends. The latest trends have been showing kind of that big orange area that you see just south of Macon, that over our area. So it does look like we're going to get some rainfall sometime late this work week or into this weekend, but there still has been some agreement about the exact hours, about the exact timing. Right now, I'd say Friday into Saturday, maybe carrying over into Sunday is a pretty safe bet, but you can see that there's still some disagreement here. I know these models overlap each other, so sometimes it can be hard to tell, but the European model is not totally on board with this Sunday situation. So right now, what we can know at the long range is that it does look like Friday, between Friday and Sunday, there's another good substantial shot of rain on the way. What's the exact timing? Not totally sure just yet. Something else that we're not totally sure just yet, but will be good for us, is that it does look like it's a good rainfall event. Now, let me be clear, this is a rainfall projection including what we're going to see today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. So we're not going to get 8 inches of rain with what happens later in the week. This is all things said and done. So I think that the second rainfall event is also looking like one that could be close to 2 inches of rain, and that could kind of all in total add to this much rain across our area, by the time that these are both all said and done. Now, I do think that this may be exaggerating it just a touch. I tend to lean with the European model a little bit more on this one, but it still puts us well into that red category, which means when this is over 3 inches of rain, close to 5 in some of the heaviest spots. So that is really good news. Obviously, the details on this kind of end of the week rain chance are still up to question a little bit here. We don't really have a lot of the details on that just yet. So totals, we also don't have a lot of the details on, but like I said, we're looking for trends, and both long-range models are trending in the direction of us getting a rainfall total that actually ends up being helpful to our area. So we'll keep our eye on that. I would say go ahead and just put a pin in it in your mind if you've got plans for next weekend, Friday all the way through Sunday, so basically the entire weekend. It could be the first wet weekend in a while. So we'll have to keep our eyes on that over the next couple of days. Keep checking in with the forecast. I know it's frustrating not to know the exact answer right now. Right now we've got a rain chance on there, but it will be fine-tuned as we go through the next couple of days. So if you got interest in the weekend, I'm throwing it on your radar now. Go ahead and be paying attention to the forecast, because there definitely looks like there could be a rain chance on the way. So my favorite kind of forecast is when we're actually talking about rain. Temperatures actually will take the back seat for the upcoming 7 days. So it's kind of been the opposite situation lately. We've been talking a lot about temperatures. Rainfall has taken the back seat, but Now it's swinging the other direction. We are kind of going to chill out temperature-wise and just hang out in the same place. And then the rain chances are really going to be the thing that we're focused on. So the average for this time of year is 65 degrees for the high. The average low is right around 40. So actually, past couple of days have been really cool. We've been well below average in the high, and then especially in the overnight low, hitting an overnight low yesterday of 24 degrees. So really cool. This morning was not quite that cool. I think we were closer to average, somewhere in the 40s. And we're going to be trending closer to average for the next couple of days or so. So for today, we make our way into the mid 60s, like I said, a lot warmer than yesterday. And then with the cloud cover and the rain chances, the overnight lows are going to hang out a little bit warmer as well. The thing I want you to kind of focus on here is the greens versus the blues. We're going to stay closer to the greens, which means our overnight lows are just generally going to be a little bit warmer. The afternoons are going to be warmer as well. Again, the blues staying up there in North Georgia, we're going to be pretty warm in the afternoons. And then even as some blues make their way back onto us, it's not the deep dark blue, it's kind of that light baby blue, which means we're going to be in the 40s, which is kind of right where we should be for this time of year. So the next couple of days are going to trend right around where they should be. The afternoons are going to be warm, and the mornings are going to be on average as well. The morning low for Wednesday that you see here, I know I told you to focus on the blues. That will be kind of the one-day exception. It will be briefly cooler on Wednesday after the rain chance moves out on Tuesday, but then on the 7-day forecast, we are right back to the regularly scheduled programming. So temperature-wise, there's really not a ton to note this week other than the mornings are going to be a little bit warmer, not that quite near or below freezing numbers that we saw over the last week. And the afternoons, Carmen and I were having a little debate about this morning. She was asking me, do you think it's going to be warmer today or colder? And I told her it's going to be warmer because we're in the mid 60s, but she said she considers mid 60s to still be cool. It's kind of that in-between weather where if you're somebody who tends to run warm, you're probably going to think that it's warm. If you tend to run cold, you'll probably think it's cold. 60s is basically what you need to know. It's right around average for this time of year. If you're somebody who feels like you need a jacket for that kind of weather, throw on your jacket. If not, I think that the cold weather lovers will actually find that kind of pleasant. It will just be somewhere in the middle, nice and temperate. So that's what you need to know weather-wise. Do you need a jacket this week? I'd have one on you, but you're not going to need the puffer winter coat each morning like you probably did when we were near or below freezing. So that's kind of the situation with our weather here. I mentioned today is November 30th, so this is the official end of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. Not that, we couldn't still see a hurricane outside of the season, but I will say seeing a hurricane outside of the given season is extremely uncommon. And with the way that our atmosphere is right now, it's basically a near zero chance that that will be happening. So we can pretty much say that this is the official stats for the season here. Tropical storms, we saw 13 this season. That is technically below the average, as is the number of hurricanes that we saw this year. So we saw 5 hurricanes. We're on average supposed to see around 7. The only number that exceeded the average is the number of major hurricanes that we saw this year. We saw 4 as opposed to the average, which is 3. So, all things said and done, this is a close to average, if not somewhat on par average season. There wasn't necessarily anything, at least in the United States, that probably felt that noticeable to you. If it felt like it was a quiet season, statistically, it wasn't necessarily quiet. Obviously, we had historic hurricanes this year. Hurricane Melissa, Category 5, and made record books for many different things. The lowest recorded pressure in the Atlantic that late in the season. There was a lot of other statistics that it broke. If it felt like it was quiet to you here in Central Georgia, that's not a coincidence. It definitely was quiet in the United States. This was the first time in 10 years that the U.S. went through the entire season without a landfalling hurricane. So the last time that happened was back in 2015. Obviously, we did have one landfalling storm. We had a tropical storm, but in terms of hurricanes, we had absolutely none. So this was an extremely quiet season for us here in the United States. I'll show you kind of the tracks that all the storms took. You're looking at every single storm from this season, and they all follow a very similar trend here, which is a hard curve out to the Atlantic, right around what we call the Bermuda High. So when we're talking about things that did impact the United States, Tropical Storm Barry did not make landfall here in the United States, but the moisture So the leftover tropical moisture from this system actually filtered northward into central Texas, and that was one of the key factors in the deadly Texas floods that happened earlier this year. So all that tropical moisture kind of ran into the mountains there in Mexico, and it had nowhere to go but north. So it filtered northward into central Texas, where it ran into a very stationary storm system, and it added a ton of moisture to that area. So those storms were able to become really strong and really efficient rainfall producers, and that is ultimately what ended up happening, why there were so many high rainfall totals, why there was so much terrible flooding there. So I felt that that's important to note. Obviously, it did not make landfall here, but it played a really big role in a very historical event for Central Texas. So that was Tropical Storm Barry. We did actually have one landfalling hurricane in the tropical storm in the United States. That was Tropical Storm Chantal. That happened very early this year, early into the season. Obviously, it was the C name, so you can imagine it did happen pretty early in the season. Right along the coastal Carolinas was where this made landfall. And overall, again, not a hurricane. So yes, there was a tropical storm. Obviously, we still had impacts from that, but not quite as bad as seeing impacts from a hurricane. All things said and done, most of the activity this season stayed well away from us. But if you're kind of curious as to why this is, obviously, an entire season, it's hard to chalk it up to just one cause, but there's kind of two causes that played a big role, at least, in steering all of these systems away from the United States. One of those was a dip in the jet stream. So you hear us talk about the jet stream a lot. It is a ribbon of fast-moving air that sits in the upper levels of the atmosphere. The jet stream is responsible for steering a lot of the weather that we have across the United States, and it ebbs and flows. So sometimes it sits a little bit further towards the south, sometimes a little bit further towards the north. It also has a seasonality to it. So in the summertime, it sits a little bit further towards the north. This summer, it's at a lot further towards the south. So this did several things. One, you can kind of see the way that it looks on the map. It steered all of these tropical systems away from the United States. It may look like it was actually acting as a barrier, but what it did was actually steer these systems further towards the north instead of allowing them to make their way a little bit further towards the west. So it just kept a lot of these systems away. It pushed them closer to the Bermuda High. It also weakened the Bermuda High, which I know sounds kind of counterintuitive, but when the Bermuda High is weaker, instead of, in fact, I'm just going to draw on here to kind of explain what I'm saying. What I'm talking about would be a high pressure system right over here where, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my tools right. I'm talking about a high pressure system that would be right over here. So that's why all these tracks are going around this right here. This is what we would call the Bermuda High. High pressure systems rotate this way, almost exactly the way these tracks go around it. So when this high pressure system is really, really strong, let me draw this out like this. It causes these systems to have to swing way out towards the United States before they can make their way around that high pressure system, if that makes any sense. When it is a little bit smaller, we have like a teeny tiny Bermuda High, these systems can come a lot closer to it as opposed to having to go way out here when it's a lot larger. So the jet stream being really strong caused this Bermuda High to be a little bit weaker, and it became the dominant steering feature in the atmosphere. So these systems were able to just kind of hug a little bit closer to the high. And what the jet stream actually did, instead of allowing these to go to the United States at all, it just pulled them out to the north, and they didn't really have the chance to make that turn. So sometimes we would see systems kind of avoid the Bermuda High altogether, track up here through the islands, and head into the Gulf, or make landfall somewhere along the eastern coast of the United States here. I'm drawing a lot of lines. Let me erase all these. But what this jet stream did was not allow them to take that path at all. It just dragged them out towards the north before they even had the chance to get close to the United States. Not only that, one last thing, this is a huge hurricane lesson right now, but the jet stream being so close to the Gulf of Mexico caused a lot of wind shear in the Gulf. And when there's a lot of wind shear in the Gulf, storms are not able to organize and become hurricanes as they normally would. So think about wind shear kind of disrupting all the winds that are trying to organize around a low pressure system. So instead of all these winds being able to spin around the center, there's a bunch of other winds that are chopping them up and sending them into different directions. So the Gulf essentially was kind of obsolete this season. It was too hostile for any storms to form. So that also is kind of why it felt quiet, because instead of any storms forming right in the Gulf and then heading into the southeastern United States, we didn't have any formation in the Gulf altogether. So overall, there's a lot of different factors, and I probably went into way more detail than I needed to, but it all kind of boils down to what the jet stream decided to do this season, and that is ultimately what kind of led to the season that we had here. We're not going to complain either way, no matter how it happened. It is nice for the United States to have a completely hurricane-free season, but that's kind of the information behind the forecast as to why. So with all that kind of said and done, a totally unnecessarily long lesson on hurricane season and why it ended up that way, here is a final look at your 7-day forecast. Again, today and tomorrow throughout the day, you're still going to have the chance to get outside. In fact, I'm looking over at the sky cams right now. I still see lots of peaks of sunshine. So it'll still be overall a pretty dry day for Sunday and for Monday. That main rainfall event, that's late Monday night into early Tuesday morning. That's when we'll see the brunt of it come through. Then by Tuesday evening, we're clear. We'll stay clear and dry Wednesday and Thursday. And I told you just go ahead and pencil in a rain chance for Friday and for Saturday. I promise you we'll get a lot more details on that over the next couple of days. Right now, I'm going to very confidently keep that rain chance on there. We are going to see some rain, and we're probably going to see a good bit of rain. It just kind of depends on when and exactly where, if it's going to be our whole area or just a couple of counties. We'll kind of fine tune that over the next couple of days. You hear us say that a lot. You know the drill. So that is a look at the forecast. Obviously, we do have some rain chances on the way today, and the rain chances Monday and Tuesday are going to help us out because we really need the rain to reverse our drought conditions in central Georgia. So hopefully you're able to take something away from that. Obviously, we're going to be talking a lot more about the rain in the coming days. Meteorologist Alex Pry will be back from his vacation. So if you're looking to join his 11 a.m. stream, that is Monday all the way through Friday, he will be there. And with rain chances in the forecast for Saturday and for Sunday, it's likely that I will also be here on the weekend at 11 for more updates. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of insight to the forecast. I'm going to flip this on to the radar so that I can kind of leave you with that here for the last couple of minutes, but I ended up actually going pretty long today, probably due to my really long explanation of the 2025 hurricane season. So with that, I will leave you with the radar here, but thank you so much for joining me. Of course, I will be back in tomorrow, and you can join Alex Pry right here once again at 11 a.m. on Monday morning. I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday, and thanks for joining us.